Good day, my dear student. Today we're going to talk about lesson 4, the global interstate system. Last time we're done discussing the topic market integration. Now let's move on to this new lesson, lesson 4, the global interstate system. As you might have noticed, the word interstate, what does it mean? So it means involving two or more different state or between state. So in this chapter, we will look at regional alliances and worldwide organization of states. So this manifests the effort of countries and governments in the world to cooperate and collaborate together. Okay? The global interstate system. Now let's go to the introduction of this lesson. Lesson 4, the global interstate system. Globalization and the nation state. Alright, so Max Weber, a German social theorist, defines state as a compulsory political organization with a centralized government that maintains a monopoly of the legitimate use of force within a certain territory. Okay? So, next, let's first define the word state coming from social theories and this international philosopher, Hedley Bull. A 20th century international philosopher stated that states are independent political communities, each of which possesses a government and asserts sovereignty in relation to a particular portion of the Earth's surface and a particular segment of the human population. So, in the first definition by Max Weber, if we read it again, so he defined a state as a compulsory political organization with a centralized government. Okay, centralized government. Pinapatakbo siya no ng gobyerno, centralized government, okay? So may namumuno, okay? That maintains a monopoly. So, kapag ka sinabi nating monopoly, so nag-iisa ka lamang. Kumbaga sa market, you are the sole seller of goods with no close substitute. Okay? Mag-isa ka lang, ano? Wala kang kompetensya. No competition, ano? Yan. So, a monopoly of the legitimate use of force within a certain territory. So, kontrolado mo, ano, yung area na yon, ano? Kung lilinawagin natin or intindihin natin mabuti yung definition ni Max Weber sangayon sa tinatawag natin na state. Okay? Kinokontrol siya ng gobyerno. So, kontrolado mo siya, no? So, ganon. Ang idea. Legitimate use of force within a certain territory. Okay? So, ayan. Now, kung babasahin natin naman uli, ano, kay Hedley Bull, a 20th century international philosopher stated that states are independent political communities, each of which possesses a government and asserts sovereignty. So, sovereignty, yung power. Ano? So, in relation to a particular portion of the earth surface and a particular segment of the human population. So, actually, halos magkapares lang naman yung parang definition nila, ano? So, dun sa tinatawag natin na state. So, this means that government and constitutions come and go, but states readily endure. Kasi nga, sige, mamaya, bigyan natin ng mas maliwanag, ano, yung mga pagkakaiba ng mga state, nation, at nation state. Kasi, mahalaga yan, ano, para mahimay natin. Okay? Yung mga ideas na nakapaloob sa topic na ito, no? Global interstate system. Alright? Now, next, ano ba nakalagay dito sa next, ano? Nation, on the other hand, is an imagined political community and imagined as both inherently limited and sovereign. But before we get into deeper about that, ano, yung sa ibang term, for example, yan nga, nation, ano, so state muna tayo. So, the state has traditionally been the subject of most interest to scholars of global politics because it is viewed as the institution that creates warfare and sets economic policy for a country. Ulitin natin, ano? Yung parang pinaka-definition ng state na sinasabi natin. The institution that creates warfare and sets economic policy for a country. So, yun ang sinasabi nating state. So, furthermore, the state is a political unit that has authority over its own affairs. So, tingnan nyo na lamang yung bansang North Korea. Okay? So, kumbaga, talagang meron silang masasabi natin fully controlled government. Kasi nga, diktator eh. So, si Kim Jong-un, So, kaya nakalagay, kung mababasa natin or kung hindi natin, kumbaga, authority over its own affair. So, in other words, its borders are recognized by other countries. Okay? Makikilala nila or makikilala ng iba't ibang mga country kung paano magpalakad ng isang bansa. Yung presidente na yun or namumunong yun. Alright? So, well, with globalization, some scholars suggest a decrease in the power of the state and that other actors are actually becoming more powerful. So, these actors include multinational corporation and global civil society organization like the Red Cross, across national boundaries. Okay? So, the thing is, multinational corporation and non-governmental organization such as, for example, the Amnesty International, are significant organizations that put into question the strength of national autonomy and global politics kasi nga, multinational corporation. Okay? So, non-governmental organization siya na, yun nga, so, hindi nangingialam ang gobyerno doon. So, kaakibat din yan na pinapalakad siya sa iba't ibang bansa kasi nga multinational kaya nagkakaroon ng issue with regard to the national autonomy and global politics. Alright? So, the emergence of non-state organization like Al-Qaeda, so ISIS, and terrorist organization which seeks power try to depose a government and replace the system with their own ideological beliefs. So, nagsasarili, may sarili nilang organization na laban sa gobyerno. Alright? Yung mga ganon, di ba? Kung makikita natin, yung mga terrorist group or terrorist organization, So, which seek power try to depose a government and replace the system with their own ideological beliefs. Now, let's go back to this nation. Nakalagay dito, Nation, on the other hand, is an imagined political community and imagined as both inherently limited and sovereign. So, sige, bakit daw naman sinasabi dito na imagined as both inherently limited and sovereign ang nation? Sige nga, basahin muna natin. Okay. Sige. Una, nakalagay dito, it is imagined daw because the members of even the smallest nation will never know most of their fellow members. Okay, meet them or even hear of them. Yet in the minds of each lives, the image of their communion. Kasi nga, sabihin nga natin no, 'di ba nation, no? Maliit lang siya na bansa. So ano nga ba pagka sinabi nating pinakamaliit na bansa? So Vatican. So first thing comes in our mind is Vatican kasi sinasabi ng Vatican ang pinakamaliit na bansa sa buong mundo. Okay, kaya nasabihin na natin nga na pinakamaliit siyang bansa, no? Sa buong mundo. So nakalagay dito, will never know most of their fellow. Hindi ibig sabihin maliit ang bansa mo, ay kilala mo na lahat. Okay, ang mga nakatira doon, ano? Yung mga ganon. Okay? So, naririnig mo na yung balita about sa kanila, no? So, lahat. Okay? So, pero, kumbaga ang idea, yet, in the minds of each life, the image of their communion. Okay? So, makikita mo yung representation ng kanilang bansa, no? So, parang ganun ang idea dito, no? Yet, in the minds of each life, the image of their communion. So, yun ang sinasabi natin dyan, ano? So, ayan. Now, next, na nakalagay dito, ano? Next sentence, the nation is imagined as limited because even the largest of them, encompassing perhaps a billion human beings, has finite, if elastic, boundaries beyond which lie other nation. Okay? So, ayan. Now, sige, next na tayo kaagad, ano? So, huwag na natin masyado pang ipaliwanag, ano? Baka magtagal tayo. So, next. It is imagined as sovereign because the concept was born in an age in which enlightenment, okay? Ano nga ba yung enlightenment? Anong period siya? So, siya ay, if I'm not mistaken, early modern period. Okay, yun yung Renaissance, ano, period, ano, na sinasabi natin. If we're going back to our previous lesson. So, yan, age in which enlightenment and revolution. Ang sinasabi dito ng revolution, industrial revolution, where destroying the legitimacy of the divinely ordained hierarchical dynastic realms. Okay? So, ayan. It is imagined as community because regardless of actual inequality and exploitation that may prevail in each, the nation is always conceived as a deep horizontal comradeship. So, mapapansin mo dito yung word na horizontal. Ibig sabihin pantay. Okay? Kumbaga naka-rest, ano? Naka-rest sa ground. Kaya nga horizontal. Meaning, pantay-pantay. Horizontal comradeship. Walang mataas. Okay, mga ganun. So, kaya sinasabing community. Okay? So, merong give and take, ano? Kaya nga pantay-pantay, ano? So, because regardless of actual inequality and exploitation that may prevail in each, the nation is always conceived as a deep horizontal comradeship. Yan ang tinutukoy, ano, sa ating nation na sinasabi, ano? So, ayan. Now, well, alam nyo, sige, bigyan natin ng tawag dito, emphasis ang pagkakaiba ng tatlo na sinasabi ko kanina para kumbaga in summary, ano? So, ayan. So, makikita natin dito, a state is a territory with its own institution and population. So, next is a nation, is a large group of people who inhabit a specific territory and are connected by history, culture, or another commonality. A nation-state is a cultural group or a nation that is also a state and may in addition be a sovereign state. Now, alam nyo kasi, minsan, o kahit ako at my very first na nakita ko yung mga term, parang nakakalito or parang medyo hindi madaling i-distinguish between state and nation. So, parang may papaisip ka sa una, no? Parang parehos lang siya, no? So, ganun. Now, bigyan natin ng pansin anong pagkakaiba ng dalawa. Kapag ka sinasabi natin states, nakalagay nga dito, with its own institution and population. Meaning, take note of that, institution. Ano ba yung institution? Institution siya ng gobyerno. So, kung tatagalogin mo aring state ay estado. Meaning, may sinusundan kang batas. May sinusundan kang law. Okay? So, kaya nga siya ay institution or different institution ng gobyerno. Okay, so mga ganun, yan. A state is a territory with its own institution and population. Kasi, alam nyo, meron tayong tinatawag na stateless nation. Pwede mong matawag ang isang lugar na stateless nation. Meaning, syempre, walang state, pero nation lang siya talaga. So, yun yung mga ethnic group na tinatawag natin that does not possess its own state and is not the majority population in any nation state, So, may sarili silang grupo, Yan, mga ethnic group. Okay? For example, mga Mangyan. Okay? Yan, mga ganyan, Different ethnic group. Okay. So, alam na naman natin yan, Hindi na natin kailangan bigyan ng masyadong pagpapaliwanag dyan. Okay? So, ayun, malinaw na sa inyo yung state. Now, tawag dito, ito namang nation, nation is a large group of people who inhabit a specific territory and are connected by history, culture, or another commonality. So, kumbaga, ito, nation nga, bansa, siya, organization, or pinaka-related siya sa word na community. Okay? Community siya. Okay. So, ulitin ko, di ba, sinabi ko kanina yung stateless nation. Pwede mong tawagin na stateless nation kung wala siyempre na state, nation lang talaga. Umaga, yan ay ethnic group lang. Okay? Ang sinasabi natin. Now, okay na sa inyo ha, yung large group of people who inhabit a specific territory and are connected by history, culture, or another commonality. Yun yung nation. Okay? Kaya nga nakalagay dyan, connected by history, culture. Kaya papasok dyan yung mga, kung ano yung kinagisnan mo, yung kultura mo, okay? So, yan ang nakaka-apekto dun sa mga tao na nakatira doon, nation. Alright. So, yan. Now, whereas kapag ka-state, talagang meron kang nakatalagang batas na kailangan mong sundin. Okay, for example, particularly yung Constitution. Okay. So, yan, binibigyan lang natin ng linaw or hinihimay lang natin, para mas maliwanag sa inyo yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa, state and nation. Now, ito naman, combination of the two, a nation-state is a cultural group, a nation that is also a state and may in addition be a sovereign state. Okay? So, ayan. Alright. Now, let's move on to the next. Well, in every day political speech and media commentary, the terms nation and state are used interchangeably. Kaya, yun nga, sabi ko kanina, parang medyo nakakalito kung i-define natin yung nation and state. Pero talamak na sa media kapag ginagamit yung term na state at nation, parang ang dating ay synonymous, para magkaparehas, magkalapit ng meaning sila, parang ganon. Kaya pwede siyang magpalit, ng katawagan na maaaring iba, sabihin na state. Yung ba naman, nation, pero parehas lang yung pakahulugan na sinasabi nila. Okay? So, ayan. Nakikita natin yan sa media. Diba? Alright. Now, sige. I think let's move on na sa next, Ito na. The state and the economic interdependence. Sige, bigyan natin ito na linaw, Sige lang, So, basahin muna natin. Teka. Nag-proceed agad sa next, So, ito. Basahin muna natin itong the state and the economic interdependence. Okay? So, the belief that globalization imposes a forced choice upon states either to conform to free market principle or run the risk of being left behind is termed into a phrase called golden straitjacket. Actually, nung pinag-aaralan ko ito, first time ko lang siya parang, meron palang salitang ganun, straight jacket. So, parang ganun. So, ngayon, inalam ko, kung ano ba yung meaning na to. Golden straight jacket. So, yun nga, by Thomas Friedman, a neoliberalism journalist and advocate to illustrate the pushing of state into policies that suit the preferences of investment houses and corporate executive. Electronic herd who swiftly move money and resources into countries favored as adaptable to the demands of international business and withdraw even more rapidly from countries deemed uncompetitive. Pero bigyan lang natin dito yung word na golden straitjacket. Ano nga ba ito? Kung lilinawin lang natin, uunawain na mas mabuti. So, ulitin natin ang pinaka parang meaning nito, believe that globalization imposes a forced choice upon state either to conform to free market principle or run the risk of being left behind. So, parang idea kasi dito sa golden straight jacket, para siyang rules. It is all the rules set down by global markets for how a country has to behave economically if it wants to thrive in today's world. So, para makasabay ka sa ating, sabihin na natin development, okay, ng ating mundo, as a whole, kasi hindi lang bansa, kasi, So, we talk about globalization. So, para makasabay ka sa globalization na ito, So, parang ganun ang idea ng golden straight jacket. So, ito ay rules set down by global markets for how a country has to behave economically. So, we talk about economy. So, if it wants to thrive in today's world. So, para makasabay ka ngayon, So, kasi, syempre, kapag hindi ka sumabay sa ngayon, sa nangyayari economically, dun sa mga company, dun sa mga businesses, pag hindi ka sumabay, okay, for example, nagmamayari ka na sa company or business, pag hindi ka sumabay sa iba, kung gaano yung paraan nila, so mapapag-iwanan ka. So, parang ganun ang idea, So, yun ang sinasabi natin, golden straight jacket. So, conform to free market principle or run the risk of being left behind. So, binibigyan din dito ng focus yung free market, Okay? So, yun ang pinaka-din dito, free market. Diba kapag sinabi natin free market, no intervention or restricted intervention of government. Meaning, private lang, private sector. Okay? Yun ang sinasabi natin dito. So, parang pinamumulat kasi dito sa golden straitjacket para mas ulad sa bansa, kapag ganun. Okay? So, pagka nagsasarili. Parang ganun na idea, Okay, kaya nga private. Yung mga related sa mga capitalism. So, ayan. Anyway, so yun ang idea ha. So, I hope you get it, So, golden straight jacket. Yan ang sinasabi natin. Now, kumbaga, yun na nga, nasabi ko na run the risk of being left behind. Sige, next na tayo, There are two things that will happen if a country is in golden straitjacket. Ano nga ba daw ang mangyayari kapag in-implement mo yung tinatawag natin na golden straitjacket? So, number one, the economy grows and politics shrink. It is a straitjacket because it narrows the political and economic policy choices of those in power to relatively tight parameters. So, the thing is, sinasabi dito, this is the reason of the difficulty of finding any real differences today between ruling and opposition parties in those countries that have put on the golden straight jacket. Okay? So, Kung babasahin natin dito, ano, the economy grows and politics shrink. Bakit? Bakit daw kapag in-implement natin, ano, or sabihin na natin, in-embrace natin itong golden straight jacket sa isang bansa, no? Bakit ang mangyayari ang economy grows and politics shrink? So it is a straight jacket because it narrows the political and economic policies choice of those in power to relatively tight parameters. Kasi nga, parang idea hindi ka sakop ng gobyerno. So that is growth rises and employment falls and political choices on all big issues such as welfare, interest rate, government spending, contract to the narrow limit set by the market. So ulitin natin ano para mas malinaw. In relation to this, ano, yung the economy grows and politics shrink. So that is growth rises and employment falls and political choices on all big issues such as welfare, interest rate, government spending, which is the contract to the narrow limits set by the market. Okay? So, mas sabihin na natin, di ba, lalo na ngayong pandemic, mas laganap yung unemployment rates, mas mataas yung unemployment rate. So, lalo pa sabihin na natin na burden siya ng gobyerno, no? So, pero kapag ka pumasok ka dito sa Golden Straight Jacket, ano, parang idea kasi din niyan ay maniningin ka ng different opportunity, ano. So, for the sake na umunlad din yung economy, ano. So, for example, yun nga, sa ibang bansa, no. So, parang ganon. Pero ang idea, politics shrink kasi hindi ka nasakop, ano. Siyempre, ibang bansa na yun. So, parang ganon na ang idea ng Golden Straight Jackets. Okay? So, ayan. Kaya sinasabi dito ang economy, the economy grows, and politics shrink. So, tandaan nyo yung dalawa ha. Alright? Kapag daw nangyari yung golden straight jacket sa country. Alright. Now, next, ano? Next na tayo kaagad. Neoliberalism and economic sovereignty. So, ito, babalik na naman tayo dito sa tinatawag nating neoliberalism. So, actually, parang na-discuss ko na ito dati, ano? Okay? Wala mang eksaktong nakalagay sa presentation, pero parang idea, ay binigyan natin ng pansin. Dati. Now, basahin muna natin ha, definition. So, neoliberalism is the intensification of the influence and dominance of capital. Ayan na nga, no? So, yung kanina, yung nag-originate or gumawa ng term, okay, nagpanukala ng Golden Straight Jacket, ay siya ay isang neoliberalist. Okay. So, yan na nga, no? Intensification of the influence and dominance of capital. O mga capitalism, ano? So, parang opposite siya ng communism. Okay, di ba? Sabi ko nga dun sa ating exam, sa ating prelims, if, ano nga ba yun? If capitalism is to free market, tama ba? O nga. So, if capitalism is to free market, then, blank is to communism. So, regulated market ang sagot doon, ano? So, ayan. So, now, going back onto this, ano? It is the elevation of capitalism as a mode of production into an ethic, a set of political imperatives, and a cultural logic. Yun ang pinaka-idea ng neoliberalism na tinatawag natin, ano? So, ang idea, capitalism siya, no? O capital. So, private sector siya. Well, it is a project to strengthen, restore, or in some cases, constitute anew the power of economic elites. So, it values market exchange as an ethic in itself. So, kung makikita nyo, no, from the word market exchange. So, for example, related sa stock exchange. Ano, di ba ganon? So, na-discuss na natin nung previous lesson. It values market exchange as an ethic in itself, capable of acting as a guide to all human action and substituting for all previous held ethical beliefs. It emphasized the significance of contractual relations in the marketplace. Alright? Now, next, ano nakalagay dito? It also holds that the social good will be maximized by maximizing the reach and frequency market transaction. O pinalalawin nga natin, ano kaya nga tayo nakakaabot ng ibang bansa. No? Yung ating mga trade na tinatawag. And it seeks to bring all human action into domain of the market. Okay. So, ayan, ano? So, madali naman niyang intindihin now. Let's move on to the next na sinasabi natin dito, ano? Alright. Economic sovereignty, on the other hand, is the power or national government to make decisions independently of those made by other governments. Okay? Ang tinutukoy dito, merong kanya-kanya kasing institution, meron kasing kanya-kanyang sabihin na natin na area, okay, na masasabi natin na mayroong ginogobiernuhan, ano, in which meron silang kanya-kanyang policy, okay, rules, ano, on that certain area or territory. Ngayon, ang sinasabi nating economic sovereignty, okay, kung babalikan natin, is the power or national government to make decisions independently of those made by other government. Okay? So, may sarili siyang lang control, ano? Bagaman sabihin na natin, kumbaga, ginawa ito ng ibang sangay ng gobyerno, no? Pero, for example, ikaw ang in charge to that. So, hindi siya dapat pakalaman ng ibang, kumbaga, gumawa in the first place, ano? Okay, nung ganong sabihin na natin na pinamumunuan mo. Okay? So, parang ganun ang idea, economic sovereignty. Bagaman medyo malabo, ano? Pero yun ang idea, ha? Okay? So, ayan. Now, nakalagay dito, ano? In globalized world economy, governments have no alternative but to adopt neoliberal economic policies of privatization, deregulation, and reduction in public expenditure. Okay? So, yan ang sinasabi natin daw kapag neoliberal economic. Ano? Governments have no alternative but to adopt neoliberal economic policies of privatization, deregulation, and reduction in public expenditures. Now, globalization as an increase in the international integration of markets for goods, services, capital, and labor is also counterpoint of national sovereignty. Now, let's move on to that four different concept of sovereignty. Ano na sinasabi natin? This includes, number one. So, sige, I think basahin na lang natin, ano? Wait. International legal sovereignty. It refers to the acceptance of a given state as a member of the international community. Number two. Okay, apat ito, ano? Concept ng sovereignty na sinatawag natin. Westphalian sovereignty. So, it is based on the principle that one sovereign state should not interfere. Parang katulad kanina, no, sa economic sovereignty, in the domestic arrangement of another. Okay? Yan ang sinasabi natin dito. Whereas, itong international legal sovereignty, it refers to the acceptance of a given state as a member of the international community. Parang dating, inaalaw mo na makialam, no, yung iba, internationally. So, parang ganun, no? So, di ba, kung babalikan natin, may tinatawag tayong International Criminal Court. For example lang, ha? So, in which, kumbaga, dito sa International Criminal Court, ang idea, nangingialam yung ibang bansa, no? For example, doon sa kaso ni Leila de Lima, kumbaga, nag-react or nag-comment, okay, yung senador ba or official sa US na dapat daw palayaan si Leila de Lima, mga ganon. So, hindi natin alam, baka naman binayaran kaya kung bakit nakapagsalita ng ganon yung government official. So, pero ang dating niyan, International Criminal Court, so sa usaping mga laws or rules ng bansa, so parang idea, nangingialam yung ibang bansa. Okay? Pero kung ipapasok natin dito sa international legal sovereignty, parang hindi yan ina-allow mo, no? So, yan. Okay. Now, next. Interdependence sovereignty. It is the capacity and willingness to control flows of people, goods, and capital into and out of the country. Kaya nga sinabing interdependence. Kasi nga, involving two or more kasi dito, interdependence. Involving two or more countries. Okay? So, yan. Kumbaga, nagtutulungan when it comes to controls of people, goods, and capital. Okay, yan, mga ganun. So, basahin na lang natin, ha? Huwag na natin masyadong ipaliwanag pa. Now, next, domestic sovereignty. Sovereignty, nakalagay dito, it is the capacity of a state to choose and implement policies within the territory. Okay? So, may sarili na, domestic sovereignty. Alright. So, sige, next na tayo kaagad, So, ano ba next dito? Nakalagay din yan, Global economic trends are influenced by economic sovereignty of an individual member, the increase of the number of international organizations, and the expansion of their function have undeniably restricted an individual country's sovereignty to certain extent. Yun nga, pinag-uusapan natin dito yung global, global economic, so, ganyan. So, influenced by economic sovereignty of an individual member. Now, I think let's move na, sa ating next na discussion, which is the economic and political integration. Pero para mas malinaw sa inyo, sige nga, balikan natin itong nakalagay dito na global economic trends are influenced by economic sovereignty of an individual member, the increase of the number of international organizations, and the expansion of their function have undeniably restricted an individual country's sovereignty to certain extent. So, the most typical example nito is yung sabihin na natin malawakang pag-usbong ng participation or involvement ng world's three leading financial institution. Yung World Bank na lang tapos yung International Monetary Fund at saka yung World Trade Organization. So in domestic economic affairs of their members. So, yung involvement nilang tatlo sa domestic economic affairs of other members. So, ayan, Sige, next na tayo. Economic and political integration. So, European integration, Sige, basahin muna natin. European integration is the process of industrial, political, legal, economic, social, and cultural integration of state, wholly or partially, in Europe. European integration has primarily come about through the European Union and its policy. Yun ang sinasabi natin na European integration. So, syempre, kumbaga, ang pinaka-center niyan ay Europe. Yun man talaga. Okay? So, primarily come about through the European Union and its policy. Pinag-uusapan diyan yung daw process ng industrial, political, legal, economic, social, and cultural integration of states wholly or partially in Europe. Okay? So, sa Europe lang mismo, integration sa Europe. Now, dito sa European Union, actually, na-discuss ko na ito dati, So, sige, bigyan natin to ng linaw. Kasi may pagbabago nangyari dito, Okay. Nakalagay dito, is an international organization comprising 28 European countries. Okay. And governing common economic, social, and security policies. So, dito sa European Union, siyempre, ito organization, samahan, ng mga different European countries para masolve nila yung global issue. Okay, economic, social, and security policy. So, ginogobyernahan nila yon, ano? So, pero dun sa lang sa mga European countries. Now, nakalagay dito, ano? In the earliest 21st century, EU expanded into Central and Eastern Europe with the following members. We have Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, the Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and the United Kingdom. Ngayon, kaya kung bakit binasa natin, kahit nasa tunay, kahit hindi natin basahin ito, ay sapagkat alam nyo, ganito, ano, noong January 31, 2020, okay, last year pa pala yun, ano, kala ko ngayong year. Ang nangyari kasi, yung United Kingdom withdraw from European Union. Kaya napansin ko dito, nakalagay dito, no, 28 European countries. Parang nagtaka ako, talaga ba? 28 ba yon? Ang alam ko, 27 yon. Yung pala naman, ano, yung kasi nakalagay sa, ano, no, sa module, 28 daw. Yung pala, hindi siya na-update. So, yung pala, ang tunay niyan, 27 na, no? So, ngayon, ang European Union ay 27 European countries lang. Pero katulad din naman ng sinabi ko dati sa ating discussion, ano, na 27. Kaya, accurate naman pala yung sinabi ko dati. So, 27 siya ha, hindi 28 na nakalagay dito. Kasi nga, itong United Kingdom ay nag-withdraw na. Okay? Umalis na, no? Nag-cancel na. Okay? Sa European Union noong January 31, 2020. Yan ay sang-ayon mismo sa mismong website ng European, no? O European Union na government. Okay? So, ayan, at least ating nadaanan, no? So, baka kasi mamaya malito kayo na ano ba yun, 28 ba talaga? Alright? So, ayan. Sige, next. Economic integration. So, ayan, economic integration. So, economic integration, nakalagay diyan, ano, can be described as a process and a means by which a group of countries strives to increase their level of welfare. So, sige, basahin muna natin, ano, yung about sa economic integration na sinasabi dito. So, well, itong economic integration, it is an arrangement between different regions that often includes the reduction or elimination of trade barriers and the coordination of monetary and fiscal policy. Diba kung babalikan natin yung tinatawag nating trade barrier, we have tariffs, quotas, ano pa ba yun? So, yung mga ganun na related in which pinapatungan mas dumadami or mas dumadagdag yung presyo ng isang product or services na tinatawag natin. Kaya ito sa economic integration, okay, ang idea, reducing cost for both consumers and producers and increasing trade between countries. So, involved in the agreement are the aims of economic integration. So, gusto nila na talagang ma-minimize yung cost na sabihin na natin na magagastos, ano, ng both consumer and producers. Okay? So, an increasing trade between the countries involved in the agreement. Okay? In which talagang ang idea dito sa economic integration, papasok dyan yung 7 stages of economic integration. It means na merong agreement between countries, ano? Sige, bigyan natin ng linaw kung ano ba talaga yung sinasabi natin dito, ano? So, ayan. Kung babasahin natin, 'di ba, yung ating definition dito, can be described as process, okay? And a means by which a group of countries, okay, strive to increase their level of welfare. So, yan ang sinasabi natin sa economic integration. Sige, bilisan na natin, ano? Ano ba itong mga 7 stages ng economic integration? Ito mahalagang unawaan natin. Sige, pero bilisan na natin kung paano ang paliwanag dito sa bawat isa dito kasi medyo mahaba ito, ano? So, sige, tapusin lang natin siguro ito. So, yan. 7 stages of economic integration. So, sige, makinig na lang kayo, ano, kasi mabilis ang ating pagpapaliwanag dito. Una, preferential trading area. Next is free trade area. Next is custom union. Next is common market. Next is economic union. Next is economic and monetary union. Next is complete economic integration. Sige, himayin natin, ano ba kapag sinabi nating preferential trade area? Nakalagay dito, ano, preferential trade area exists when countries within a geographical region agree to reduce or eliminate tariffs barrier on selected goods imported from other members of the area. So, kung ang idea dito sa preferential trade area, pili lamang specific, okay, or selected goods imported na masasabi natin na nag-agree yung dalawang bansa, no? Na talagang gagawin natin, babawasan natin yung tinatawag natin na mga tariffs, okay? Or sabihin na natin na mga pagpapatong, ano, sa mga produkto na ating ite-trade sa isa't isa, ano? So, kaya kung babasahin natin dito uli, ano, when countries within a geographical region agree to reduce or eliminate, okay? Or pwede na lang talagang eliminate yung mga barriers, ano, tariff barriers on selected. Selected ha, selected. Hindi siya panglahatan. Imported from other members of the area. Yun ang sinasabi natin dito. So, ang agreement kasi na ito, okay, nakalagay dito, this is often the first small step toward the creation of a trading bloc. Okay? Agreement may be made between two countries. Okay? Kaya nga, ano, meron dalawa dito, ano, it could be either bilateral or two countries or several countries or multilateral. So, tandaan yun ha. Under siya ng preferential trade areas na sinasabi natin. Now, next, free trade areas. Ano naman to? Are created when two or more countries in a region agree to reduce or eliminate barriers to trade on all goods, okay, from other members. So, ang tinasabi dito, all goods. I-reduce yung all goods, okay? Reduce or eliminate barrier. So, sige, pagpalagay na, no? I-reduce yung barrier, ano? Papauntin yung mga taxes na nilagay doon, okay? For example, like that. Okay, i-reduce lamang ha, yung all goods. Yung kanina, specific or particular goods lang, yung preferential. Whereas dito sa free trade areas, all goods na siya coming from other members. Now, papasok dyan yung tinatawag natin ng mga North Atlantic Free Trade, di ba? Agreement. Yung NAFTA. Ito'y common na, no? Ewan ko, siguro narinig nyo na rin ito, yung NAFTA is an example of such a free trade area and it includes the USA, Canada, and Mexico, no? Yan, ano, mga example. Kumbaga, sila ay talagang mga nakatalaga na, no? Na meron silang agreement, okay, na ang kanilang lahat ng goods, product, and services, okay, particularly, na meron dapat reduce, okay? Meron dapat na pagbabawas, ano, sa mga taxes kapag ka nagkakaroon sila ng trade. So, yun ang parang masasabi natin na advantage kapag ka napapabilang sa organization or group. Okay, for example na lang, yung NAFTA na sinasabi natin dito. Now, next na tayo kagad. So, yan. A customs union. So, a customs unions, okay, involves the removal of tariff between members together with the acceptance of a common unified and external tariff against non-members. So, basahin natin na maigi, ano? So, involves the removal of tariffs. So, remove na talaga. Okay, between members. Together with the acceptance of a common or unified external tariff against non-members. So, pati non-members, ano? Parang dating nagkakaroon din ng agreement sa mga non-members. So, di ba, kapag sinabi natin non-members, hindi ka kabilang doon sa grupo na kinabibilangan, ano? So, yan, yung mga organization na sinasabi natin. So, pati hindi members, okay, so nakalagay dito, together with the acceptance of a common unified external tariff against non-members. Together with the acceptance, okay, okay, yan, ha, ang sinasabi natin custom union. Sige, basahin lang natin, huwag na natin masyadong ipaliwanag pa. Now, dito sa tinatawag natin na custom union, single payment or duty is made by countries exporting to custom unions. Single payment or duty is made by countries exporting to custom union. Goods inside the union can move freely with no additional tariff. Member shared tariffs revenue while a small share is retained by the country that collects the duty, removing internal barriers to trade and requiring participating nations to harmonize their external policy, as well as building a free trade area are put up by customs union. Okay? So, sige, basahan nyo na lang, ano? So, ayan, hindi na naman natin masyadong kailangan palawanag pa. Now, let's move on to the common market. Nakalagay dito, ano? Common market is the most significant step towards full economic integration. Okay? Makikita natin, ano? Full economic integration. In the case of Europe, the single market is officially referred to the internal market. Okay? Yan ang sinasabi natin dito sa common market. So, ang pinaka-key feature dito sa common market, ano, is the extension of free trade from just tangible goods to include all economic resources. This means that all barriers are eliminated to allow the free movement of goods, services, capital, and labor. Whereas dito sa custom union, meron pang mga external tariff, ano? So, mga ganon. Acceptance of a common tariff. External yan, external. Okay? Take note of that, external. Against non-members. Doon lang sa mga hindi members, for example, or hindi kabilang, merong tariff. External tariff na tinatawag, ano? Whereas, doon sa mga members, siyempre wala na. Removal na talaga. Totally. Yan yung sa custom union. Whereas, dito sa common market, talagang ang idea dito, ano? This means that all barriers are eliminated to allow the free movement of goods, services, capital, and labor. So, ayan, ano? Kaya nga, nakalagay dito, no? In the case of Europe, the single market is officially referred to the internal market. Okay? Kaya nga common market, ano? So, ayan. Sige, next na tayo. Nakalagay dito, in addition as well as removing tariff barriers are also reduced and eliminated. So, parang ang dating, di pa pala eliminated lahat-lahat. Ano? So, nakalagay dito, ano? As well as removing tariffs, o given na yan, non-tariffs barriers are, lahat pala, no? Lahat na pala. Non-tariff barriers are also reduced and eliminated. Okay? Yan ang sinasabi natin na common market. Now, sige. Ito, palapit na tayo ng palapit, ano? Economic union na. Is a term applied to a trading bloc that has both a common market between members and a common trade policy towards non-members. All the members are free to pursue independent macroeconomic policy. Yan ang tinatawag natin na economic union. Okay? So, sige, basahin na lang natin, ano? In the economic union, the use of common currency and a unified monetary policy is considered. So, pinag-uusapan din dito sa economic union yung sabihin na natin yung common currency. For example, yung euro. So, the same na dapat, euro ang gamitin mong currency, ano? So, parang ganun, ano? Monetary. Okay? So, the best example of economic union is the European Union. Kasi, syempre, ang idea, the same yung kanilang way ng trading. In a way na, for example na nga lang, ano yung common currency, para sila lang ginagamit na, for example, pagpapalitan ng pera, ano, or pagkakaroon ng transaction. For example, euro lang talaga. So, parang ganun ang idea, no? And aside from that, siyempre yung mga trade, yung mga products, goods and services, yan, yung mga ganun. So, nagkakasundo sila. So, economic union. Okay, when it comes to economy, ano, yung mga European Union, nagkakasundo sila sa pagtitrade ng mga related sa mga, yun nga, related sa economy natin, sa economy nila. Okay, hindi natin. Okay? So, ayan. Sige, bilisan na lang natin. Now, economic and monetary union or EMU is a key stage toward complete integration and involves a single economic market, a common trade policy, a single currency, and a common monetary policy. Okay. So, mas lalo nagkakaroon ng integration ano sa paglawig natin or sa pagkatagal ng ating discussion na ito sa pagtaas, ano, sa pagbaba. Nung tinatawag natin na yung kanina, yung 7 stages of economic integration, ano, sa pagbaba. So, hanggang umabot sa complete economic integration. Okay? So, ayan. Dito sa economic monetary union, nakalagay dito involves a single economic market, a common trade policy, okay, a single currency, o pati mga policy, ano, pinakalma na, no? So, yan, ang nakikita natin sa economic and monetary union, okay? So, parang ang idea talaga mas nag-i-integrate, palapit ng palapit, pa-close ng pa-close, hanggang umabot na dito sa complete economic integration ng sinasabi natin. Okay? So, ayan. So, EMU. EMU, it represents a major step in the integration of EU economies or European economies. So, EMU, or this Economic and Monetary Union, involves the coordination of economic and fiscal policy, a common monetary policy, and a common currency, which is the euro. Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina, no? So, dito pala papatak sa Economic and Monetary Union. Kasi nga, it talks about monetary. It talks about the currency. EMU is a means to provide stability and for a stronger, more sustainable and inclusive growth across the euro area and the EU as a whole for the sake of improving the lives of EU citizens. Okay? So, yan. Ano? Sinasabi natin na Economic and Monetary Union. So, yan. Next, complete economic integration is the final stage of economic integration in which member states completely forgo independence of both monetary and fiscal policy. Ito na, kompleto na, no? Talagang tuluyan na. Dito sa tinatawag natin na complete economic integration na sinasagad natin. Alright? Now, dito sa complete economic integration, states that participate in complete economic integration have no control of economic policy, including economic trade rules. There is full monetary union. Oh, talagang kompleto na, no? Talagang lahat na. There is full monetary union. Okay? So, kung ano talaga yung tinalagang batas in relation to that, ano? In relation to monetary, okay, mga ganyan, where regulation regarding labor and capital are shared between member state and this includes a single currency. Talagang isa na lang gagamitin, ano? For example, euro na lang, no? Pagka doon sa organization na sinasabi natin dito, yan, no? So, medyo talagang, kumbaga, restricted na, no? Stricto na. Kung ano talaga, yung implementation ng isa, yun na rin lahat. So, parang ganun ang idea, no? Sa complete economic integration na sinasabi natin. Now, there is also a complete harmonization, okay? Nakalagay dito, no? So, sige, basahin nga natin ito. Complete economic integration involves a single economic market, a common trade policy, a single currency, a common monetary policy, together with a single fiscal policy. So, lahat single na, no? So, including common tax and benefit rates or the complete harmonization of all policy. Harmonize na lahat ng mga implementation ng mga rules with regards to the trade policy, okay, yung mga currency, monetary policy, yung mga ganyan, ano, even fiscal policy, common tax, okay, lahat na ay iisa na dito sa complete economic integration na sinasabi natin. So, harmonization of all policy rates and economic trades rules. Alright? So, ayan ang sinasabi natin ha sa complete economic integration. Now, ito ang last, political integration. Pero hindi ito kabilang dun sa ating tinatawag sa na stages of economic integration. Pero ito ay kumbaga isiningit lang, So, political integration is mainly based on welfare and increasing effect of integrated policy making according to the economic European integration. Lagi ng European, It brings economic benefits by leading the recovery of effectiveness in policy making. So, related siya sa policy, Policy making. Political integration is mainly based on welfare increasing effect of integrated policy. Meaning to say, nagkakaroon na talaga ng implementation with regards to the stages of economic integration. Dito papatak sa political integration. Kaya hindi siya kabilang dun sa stages of economic integration. Kasi ito, implementation na sa political integration. So, kaya yan ang nakalagay dito, is mainly based on welfare increasing effect of increasing policy making according to the economics of European integration. So, parang pinag-uusapan kasi dito ay European integration. It brings economic benefits by leading the recovery of effectiveness in policy making. So, policy making ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. So, ayan. So, alam nyo, sige, in summary, sa stages ng tinatawag natin na tawag dito, economic or stages of economic integration, di ba yung una political, yung una ay parang idea, yung preferential trade area, And then, pataas ng pataas. Okay? Then, sumunod yung free trade area, yung kanina, padalwa, then custom union, then common market, then monetary union, then ngayon, yung complete na, complete economic integration na, So, hanggang dito na sa political union, na kapag nakikita natin, pataas ng pataas, ay nag-i-increase yung integration. Okay? So, ayan. Nag-i-increase yung integration. Mas nagiging, kumbaga, unified. Okay? Nagkakasundo kasi yung bawat bansa sa lahat-lahat na, So, nung una, medyo maluwag pa, in which particular goods lang ang parang sabihin na natin merong reduce ng tariffs or mga trade barriers. Pero hanggang sa huli, dito, sa ating complete economic integration, totally na. And then, dito sa political integration na siningit natin, totally na implement na natin lahat-lahat. Doon sa mga economic integration na sinasawag natin, yung stages, okay, of economic integration. Alright, yan. Yan, nagtatapos ang ating medyo lang, medyo mahabang discussion sa topic na sa lesson 4 na the global interstate system. Okay? Pero actually, to be honest, ito ay may kasunod pa. Pero since we have no time, to discuss it, so, I'm going to provide you na lang, yung remaining discussion with regards to this particular topic, the global interstate system, Okay, yung mga theories of European integration, okay, under yung mga neo-functionalism, intergovernmentalism, liberal intergovernmentalism, new institutionalism, multi-level governance, yung mga ganyan, At saka yung mga transnational activism in state. Tsaka yan, social media and state. Yan yung mga ilan sa mga continuation ng ating topic na or lesson na the global interstate system. So we have no time to discuss it. Kaya ipoprovide ko na lang kayo. Bibigyan ko na lang ng handout with regards to that. So yan, ilalagay natin. Okay? So, yan. For the meantime, dyan nagtatapos ang ating lesson with regards to the global interstate system. Yan. Dyan nagtatapos ang ating lesson. I hope, again, you learn something again from this new lesson. So, ayan, So thank you for listening and have a nice day and God bless.